This coming days after Israel confirmed the death of Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar. Here with his expertise, retired United States Army Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Davis, a highly decorated combat veteran who now works as a military expert for the think tank Defense Priorities. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Good morning to you. So if these documents are accurate and Israel's plans are indeed exposed, what type of an impact is this going to have on both U.S.-Israel relations and the conflict in the Middle East?
Well, over the weekend, the New York Times reports that U.S. Senior officials did validate that it's a legit document. So apparently that has been proven. When I looked at it initially, it certainly looked legit to me based on the top secret documents I saw when I was on active duty in the Army. But really, I think it just kind of, in terms of operational, I'll talk there first. I don't think that's going to have any impact because it didn't talk about what Israel was going to do. It just said based on what their exercises and planning and preparation are, something big is probably coming, but it stopped short of assessing what was going to happen. So that didn't give any information to their opponent and their enemy there. But what it does show is that there is a great deal of mistrust between the United States and Israel for all this talk of unified positions, et cetera. We're spying on them, but we also know that they're Mossad and Shin Bet and some of these others, they're also spying on the United States. We're both keeping information from them. And there's pros and cons to that. Frankly, I don't know that we need to be a complete open book. But the biggest issue is that it's concerning that our top secret documents have been leaked, and apparently it came out to an organization that was associated with Iran. So that is the biggest red flag to me. Given that fact that it's associated with Iran, what does that mean for the rest of U.S. secrets? Are they at risk too? Well, anytime you have somebody, some individual with access to that kind of information and they choose to leak it to somebody else, then that means you've got a real problem because it's all up to what some individual chooses to reveal and what they choose not to reveal. And you just can't have that. I mean, I was a whistleblower in 2012, but I expressly did not release anything classified documents because that could put the United States at risk. And if you have a strong feeling about something, there's things open source you can say, but then you're also going to follow the rules because you cannot have a situation where people don't follow those kinds of laws because then you could put national security at risk. So when do you believe Israel will attack Iran, considering this leak? Well, I can imagine that that there is a great deal of diplomacy going on behind the scenes because the United States absolutely does not want this war to escalate. We don't want to get dragged into a war ourselves. And we know publicly, and certainly from some sources I hear privately, there's a lot of pressure being put on the Netanyahu government to limit what they're doing so that they don't spawn some kind of a big Iranian retaliation, which will then itself have to be responded to again, which could start this escalation ladder that nobody can get off of, and it could end in regional war. So the U.S. has a strong incentive to put whatever pressure necessary to prevent this from getting larger. And as far as the U.S. activities recently sending over that THAAD missile defense system to Israel, moving troops over to help set things up in that situation, what do you make of how the Biden administration is handling this? They seem to be keeping themselves at a distance, but also pledging their support for Israel. Yeah, I honestly, yeah, that is part of the mixed messages that is sent, because we say on the one hand we don't want them to escalate, we want to limit, we are potentially, if they don't, for example, let supplies and relief agency things into Gaza, we're going to withhold certain categories of weapons, et cetera. But at the same time, we give them one of only 7 operational THAAD systems that we have in our entire inventory. We've got an aircraft carrier strike group sitting there right off the shore. We've already twice engaged on behalf of Israel against Iran. So it kind of sounds like, hey, whatever you end up doing, we're going to support it no matter what. But gosh, it would be great if you didn't do X, Y, and Z. And I'm not sure that's a real effective way to govern. Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Davis, always appreciate your expertise, sir. Thank you.